Maya. Don't what? Don't say my name like that when we're standing in the office. When I still have to walk in here tomorrow and call you. When I still have to pretend I don't know what you sound like. Look at me. Tell me you don't feel this. Tell me and I'll walk out that door and we'll go back to whatever we were pretending to be. You know I can't tell you that. I know, that's the problem.
The elevator doors of Vantage Creative Agency slid open on the 14th floor, and I almost walked right back into them. 3 weeks. That's all the time that had passed since the night I kissed a stranger in the back corner of a wine bar called Lux, felt her fingers curl into my waist like she was afraid I'd disappear, and then, like a complete coward, slipped out while she was in the restroom and never called. I had told myself she was just a beautiful woman at a bar, that it didn't mean anything, that I'd never see her again. And then I walked into my first day at Vantage, and there she was, Sloane Whitfield, my new boss, standing at the head of the glass-walled conference room in a charcoal blazer, one hand on the table, talking to 2 senior designers like the rest of the world was simply background noise. Her dark hair was pulled back, her posture was perfect. She looked like someone had sculpted her specifically to make my life difficult. I froze in the doorway long enough for the receptionist to nudge me forward. "Get it together, Maya." I straightened my blazer, adjusted the strap of my portfolio bag, and walked toward the room. The moment I stepped through the door, Sloane looked up, and I watched it happen. The flicker. Half a second of something real crossing her face before it was gone, replaced with the smooth, unreadable expression of someone who had been performing professionalism so long it had become a second skin. She crossed the room and extended her hand. "Ms. Chen," she said, "welcome to Vantage." Her voice was even, completely steady, like she'd never pressed her mouth to mine in a dim corner while a jazz trio played something slow and aching 20 feet away. I shook her hand. Hers was warm. I remembered that warmth. I hated that I remembered it. "Thank you," I said. "I'm looking forward to learning from you." The words came out so clean and professional that the 2 designers in the room smiled politely and went back to their laptops. Only Sloane held my gaze for 1 beat longer than necessary before she turned away. That was the most honest and most dishonest thing either of us had ever said, and we both knew it. My first 2 weeks at Vantage were an exercise in controlled suffering. Sloane ran her department the way a conductor runs an orchestra, every instrument aware of its place, every note intentional. She was brilliant at her job in a way that made it genuinely hard to resent her. She remembered every detail of every brief, challenged every lazy concept, and never asked her team to stay late without staying later herself. Junior staff was terrified of her. Senior staff respected her the way you respect something sharp. I studied her more than I should have. During morning stand-ups, she'd pace slowly, coffee in hand, asking questions that made grown adults stammer. During client calls, she'd lean back in her chair with this almost bored confidence, like the outcome was never in any real doubt. And every so often, when she thought no one was watching, she'd stand at the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Michigan Avenue and just go somewhere else for a moment, somewhere quiet, somewhere far from the blazer and the title and the glass walls. I caught her doing that one Tuesday afternoon and looked away fast, my chest doing something I absolutely refused to examine. Our interactions were brief and surgical. Feedback on my work delivered in her office with the door open. Strong concept, weak execution on the headline. Rework it. My responses, equally clean. Understood. I'll have a revision to you by end of day. Professional, spotless, exhausting. My coworker, Danny, Vantage's head of copywriting, and the most observant human being I had ever encountered, slid into the chair across from me one Thursday at lunch and stole a fry from my plate without asking. "So," she said pleasantly, "what's going on with you and Whitfield? I looked up. Nothing. She's my boss. Everyone here has the same boss. They don't all look at her like that. Like what? Like you're trying very hard not to look at her. She stole another fry. It's actually impressive, the effort. I laughed, short, helpless, a little strangled. There's nothing going on. Danny shrugged like she didn't believe a single syllable of that sentence and mercifully changed the subject. I found the Velvet Room by accident. My friend Jordan had been trying to get me out of my apartment for weeks. Come on, it's members only, it's low-key, you'll love it. I finally said yes, mostly to stop the texts. The venue was on the north side, no sign outside, just an address and a door painted deep burgundy. Inside it was dim and warm, leather seating, low music, the kind of place that felt like a held breath. I was nursing a gin and tonic near the back, wondering how early I could leave without hurting Jordan's feelings, when I saw her. Sloane. But not the Sloane I knew. She was sitting alone at a small table against the far wall, jacket off, one leg crossed over the other, a glass of red wine in her hand. Her posture was still elegant, but somehow looser, like a knot that had been partially undone. She was staring at nothing in particular, and her expression was something I'd never seen on her face in 2 weeks of working 6 feet from her. Open. Unguarded. Soft. My first instinct was to leave. My second instinct apparently was stronger, because I walked over. She saw me coming. I watched the armor start to assemble, the jaw tightening, the spine straightening, and I shook my head just slightly. "I'm not here as your employee," I said quietly. She looked at me for a long moment, then slowly her shoulders dropped. "No," she said, "I suppose you're not." I sat down without being invited. She didn't tell me to leave. We talked for almost 2 hours, carefully at first, circling each other like two people feeling for solid ground in the dark. She asked me why I hadn't called after the wine bar. I told her the truth. I was scared. She laughed at that, a low, genuine laugh that I felt in my sternum, and said, "I thought I'd imagined you." I looked at her across the small table, at the woman who made entire rooms rearrange themselves around her authority, who I had watched that very morning reduce a bad pitch to rubble in 4 sentences, sitting here with her wine and her undone knot and her honest eyes. "I see you differently here," I said. "I know," she said quietly. "That's why I come." What happened next was slow and honest and negotiated with care that surprised me. She told me what she needed. I listened. I told her what I could offer and what I needed in return. The conversation was unlike anything I'd had before. No games, no pretense, just 2 people deciding to trust each other with something real. "You'd have to be sure," she said finally, her eyes searching mine. "I'm sure," I told her. She reached across the table and touched my hand just once, just briefly, and something that had been holding its breath in my chest from the moment I walked into Vantage finally exhaled. The arrangement was clean, explicit. Ours. At work, professional, no exceptions. She was my boss, I was her employee. Nobody would know. Nobody would see anything. At Vantage, I would earn her respect the right way, through my work, not through what existed between us after hours. Outside work, different rules. Private hours, a different kind of trust. I drove home that night with the windows down, even though it was cold, the Chicago air sharp against my face, my heart doing something complicated and reckless in my chest. I told myself it was simple, that we were adults, that we knew exactly what this was. I almost believed it.
Here's the thing nobody tells you about having a secret. It doesn't feel heavy at first. At first, it feels like a private room only you have the key to. You walk around with it in your pocket, and every so often your fingers brush against it and you smile at nothing, and people around you just think you're in a good mood. That was me for the first 2 weeks after the Velvet Room. Our first night together happened on a Friday. Sloane had texted me that afternoon. Nothing dramatic, just an address on the north side and a time. 8 o'clock, if you still want this. I'd stared at my screen for exactly 4 seconds before typing back, "I'll be there." The apartment was a rental she kept separate from her main place. That told me everything I needed to know about how carefully she'd built the walls around this part of herself. It was clean and minimal. A lamp, a couch, soft rugs, no photographs. A space that existed purely for the purpose of being somewhere else. She opened the door in a plain white shirt and dark jeans. No blazer, no armor. Her feet were bare. I don't know why that detail hit me so hard. Maybe because Sloane Whitfield in the office was always so completely assembled. Seeing her like this, barefoot, quiet, looking at me with something uncertain in her eyes, made my breath catch in a way I hadn't prepared for. "Hi," she said. "Hi," I said back. We stood there for a moment, both of us almost laughing at how strange it was. Then she stepped aside, and I walked in. I won't narrate everything. Some things belong only to the people inside them. What I'll say is this. Sloane was nothing like who she was at Vantage. The authority she wore like a second skin during the day, she set it down the way you set down something you've been carrying too long. She let me lead. She let me decide. And the sounds she made when I touched her, soft, unguarded, undone, were the most honest things I'd ever heard come out of another person. At one point, she laughed. Just laughed. Sudden and real, because I'd said something ridiculous trying to break the tension, and the sound of it, warm and unpolished and nothing like her boardroom voice, made me feel like I'd been handed something precious. Afterward, we lay in the dim room, her head against my shoulder, her breathing slow. I stared at the ceiling and felt the specific terror of someone who has just realized they are in significantly deeper than they planned. "It's fine," I told myself. "This is an arrangement. You know what it is." Sloane shifted, tilted her head up to look at me. Her eyes were heavy and soft. She looked young like this, unbothered. "You okay?" she asked. "Very," I said, and smiled like I meant only the one thing. 2 months of Fridays. That's what we built. A small, private world that existed from 8 p.m. to whenever sleep finally took us, and dissolved completely by Monday morning when she walked past my desk without breaking stride, and I said, "Good morning, Sloane," like she hadn't had her fingers in my hair 48 hours earlier. It was strange. It was also, and I'm almost embarrassed to say this, kind of thrilling. I got better at my job because I wanted her to see it. Not in a desperate way, not in a please notice me way, but in the quiet way you push yourself when someone's opinion actually matters to you. I reworked briefs she sent back without complaint. I stayed late on the Hartley account until I cracked a concept that made even Marcus, the senior art director who hadn't complimented anyone since 2019, look up from his screen and go, "Okay, yeah, that works." Sloane reviewed it in her office and said, without looking up, "Good instincts on the color language. Build it out." That was it. No smile, no acknowledgement of anything beyond the work. I walked back to my desk, grinning at my laptop like an idiot. Danny watched me from across the room, narrow-eyed, eating a granola bar. "Nothing's going on," I said before she could open her mouth. "I didn't say anything," Danny said. "You were about to." She pointed her granola bar at me. "You have a secret, and it's making you weird and glowy." She took a bite. "I respect it." I laughed, genuinely, loud enough that 2 people looked over, and went back to work. The Friday that changed everything started like all the others. I got to the apartment at 8. She opened the door. We ate takeout Thai on the couch and argued about whether The Last of Us was the greatest piece of television ever made. She said yes. I said she had no basis for comparison because she apparently hadn't slept since 2021. And she threw a pillow at me and I caught it. And she looked at me with this expression, warm and amused and unguarded. And I thought, I am in so much trouble. Later, much later, she was lying with her back against my chest, both of us quiet, the lamp throwing soft gold across the ceiling. I had my arm around her. She had her fingers loosely threaded through mine. She said very quietly, "I don't let people in." "I know," I said. "I need you to know that this," she paused, exhaled, "I don't do this with just anyone." I pressed my lips to her hair. "I know that too." She was quiet for a moment, then, "I think that might be a problem." I didn't answer right away, because I knew exactly what she meant, and because I had been thinking the same thing for 3 Fridays now, but had been refusing to say it out loud, like saying it would make it real, and making it real would make it dangerous. It was already real. It had been real for weeks. "Sloane," I started. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. I ignored it. It buzzed again, and again, 3 times fast, the pattern I'd set for emergency contacts only. I reached over and looked at the screen. It was a text from Danny, which was strange enough on a Friday night, but the message beneath her name made my blood go cold. "Maya, HR called me looking for you. Someone at the office filed a complaint. They're saying you and Whitfield have an inappropriate relationship. They have photos." The room was very quiet. Sloane's breathing was still slow and even against my chest. She didn't know yet. I stared at the ceiling, phone down against my sternum, heart hammering, and thought about how carefully we'd built this, how every wall, every professional distance, every good morning like strangers, none of it had been enough. Someone had been watching.